come this life, na me one no. And I know say one day I could go me bang, na me one no. Yo, 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 yo. You just to talk about me, oh, but if I tell you can't see where them they talk about you, you say you go shock. C'est vrai que j'ai eu des hauts et des bas, toujours là, je ne lâche pas, telle poverty, c'est la lie. Star, you know the bang, no man for shine. I believe in God's time, that's why I am still on the grind. Eliminate, eliminate, Jesus say them eliminate, manipulate, let's lock it down, we have to eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. Then they try to eliminate the takara, the plans with Tata, oh, I said don't give up on me, oh. The one for bringing me down, oh. Them know to take away my crown. Ces gens ne pourront jamais m'imiter. Je suis unique, y'a pas mon duplicata. Them know my music is ancestral. Originality. Bati moninga onyora ba moteboro wana kepira mbare orina magico oro. Qui es-tu pour parler quand tu ne me nourris pas? Qui es-tu pour parler quand tu ne m'habilles pas? Qui es-tu pour les juger? Sache que l'étoile ne s'oublie jamais pour briller. Hey yo, éliminé, éliminé, ils essayent de m'éliminer, manipuler les flanquer, oui après vu que m'éliminer, éliminer, éliminer. Then they try to eliminate the takara, the plans with Tata, oh, I said don't give up on me, oh. Them ones for bringing me down, no. Them know to take away my crown. Ces gens ne pourront jamais m'imiter. Je suis unique, y'a pas mon duplicata. Them know my music is ancestral. Originality.
It's Phil Bill.
Okay, we'll take another shot.
I'll do it again. Ooh, it's Phil Bill. And he's singing Teteri. In case you don't know what Teteri means, it's Oroko for star. Yes, he's saying that no one can change the fact that he is a star and he's unique in what he does. And this message is for you and everyone else who's watching this morning. I always say this, when you look up at night, don't you see many stars? There's so many of them. You don't see one star trying to crash another just because it needs to shine. You just shine where you are because the light you have is needed for that particular space. So you are a star, and thank you for choosing to start your morning with Cameroon Feeling. In the same song, he talks about promoting love for one another. He's all against gossiping and backbiting. That's what lazy people who have nothing to do focus on. You have to think about improving yourself instead of pointing the ills of others and not even telling them about it. So we say no to backbiting and gossiping, and we say yes to being a star and shining bright. I'm Patience Mbele Fominyen. On this half of the program, we're going to meet with a lady in the north of Cameroon who is a painter in construction sites, something that you would expect only men to do, right? But a woman does it. And then we have another lady in the littoral region who is more focused in helping girls when it comes to female hygiene because she's a health advocate. There you go. There's a lot more coming on this part, especially as we're saying no to sexual harassment. We're saying no to harassing women at workplaces and schools on the streets. Alice Bay is going to be present here because she will talk about experiences when it has to do with sexual harassment. So the guilty can dwell in more guilt and the victims can feel courageous to report. We're also going to have Marceline B. join us. She's a counselor. She responds to some grievances that women have when it comes to dealing with sexual harassment. But right now, is that a bell I'm hearing? Oh, I guess there's someone at the door. I need to check. Okay. Yeah, so my door needs some oiling. Hi. How are you?
I'm fine.
You know, sometimes you pretend to just want to visit me in the morning, but I think I know that we can't go there because you want to stop at this table.
Normally.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you come close to me so you can use my mic.
Yeah.
So if your wife came to you and told you,
Yes.
Hugh, someone is harassing me at work, what are you going to do?
First of all, I'll be very angry.
Of course. How dare they?
I'm jealous.
You're jealous.
Yeah.
And you're protecting your wife.
Of course.
So-
It's my property.
Oh, my. So what are you going to do?
First of all, the first thing I would like to ask is, what's the man's name?
Yes, when she gives the name,
Yeah.
you visit him.
Yeah, of course.
Ah, my gosh, give me 5. That's the spirit. Visit him. So can you do what you want to do? I know when you visit.
Yes, but you know, I do like fruit.
You like fruit?
Do you know why I came here this morning?
Why?
It's because time for facts.
What?
Time for facts.
Let's do it. Before we get into the conversations we're going to have about ending sexual harassment, just a reminder, if you're ever harassed, you should be able to reach out and call this number. It's 116. 116. If you're harassed at your workplace, harassed at school, or harassed in the community, and you can identify the person who is doing that, the perpetrator, all you need to do is call this number, 116, and someone from the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the family will respond to you and definitely come to your aid. That's important to know. But then here are some facts. When it comes to ending sexual harassment, we have to know that it's more common than you and I think. Across Africa, many women, often between 30% to nearly half, report experiencing sexual harassment at work or school at some point. This means that in a room of 10 women, at least 3 may have faced it before. And then silence is the biggest shield for the harassers. Most cases are never reported due to the fear of shame, losing a job, or academic relations. So what we hear publicly is usually a small part of the reality that people are keeping because they're afraid of losing the things that are precious to them. And then power plays a big role. In both schools and workplaces, harassment is often linked to people in authority, teachers, bosses, lecturers. It's not about attraction. It's more about how can I control this person. And then grades for favors is a real issue that we have to address when it comes to this. In some African universities, and sometimes even in Cameroon, students report being asked for sexual favors in exchange for grades or recommendations. Education becomes a bargaining tool instead of the right of a woman or a girl. And then young women are the most vulnerable. Girls and young women, especially students and interns, face the highest risk. The less power you have, the more exposed you are. It affects performance and futures. Victims often experience poor academic results, job loss, or even quit from their jobs, and loss of confidence. All of this because of sexual harassment. So that's why we're talking about it this morning. And then culture sometimes normalizes it. In some communities, behaviors like sexual jokes, comments, or pressure are seen as normal. It's just that he likes you now. He's complimenting you. Don't take offense. You're too serious. You're too strict. No. It's harassment. Normal does not mean acceptable, so we continue to say no to it. We're going to highlight a lot more when Marceline B. joins us, but just a reminder from what Barrister said, ladies, it's really your approach to how you deal with men. If a man holds your bum and you're like, leave it, he'll be like, oh really, it's a game, I want to play more. Or if a man is staring at your boobs and you're like, it's because I'm so hot, you're encouraging that man. Another thing that I need to highlight for people to understand is women have different body shapes, okay? If I wear a slim dress, and Tracy, who is the intern, who usually does, things on set here, does wear a slim dress, it will look completely different. So we women have to be alert on how certain things look on us, even if we may like it. Not accusing us of making men want to harass us, no. But just so you're careful and you don't make them look. At the same time, when I think about that, men should just simply have self-control, yeah. Anyway, I'll be exchanging this conversation even more with Alice Bay when she joins us. I know Alice will have a lot to say concerning this. But right now, let me take you to the North region to meet a young woman who has transcended social barriers to do painting in construction sites alongside men. I love that. So it's time for us to meet Julienne Bechem in this report sent in by our regional correspondent, Maimouna Njoya.
The story of Julienne Bechem Adjam is far from ordinary. She is a housewife but has dared to try painting in construction sites. And what motivated her is,
Je suis quelqu'un qui a beaucoup souffert.
I have been through trying moments in life, and I know what it means to go for days without eating. So my vision today is to serve as a muse for women who have lost hope. What I can say is that every one of us has something to offer.
Avec quelque chose en elle.
Julienne is also excelling in painting because she refused to pay attention to negative comments around her. Some people wonder why a young woman like me will not opt for jobs that are meant for the female folk. Some say doing painting is like trying to measure up with men, and others will even add that they cannot permit their wives to do painting in construction sites. I always give a deaf ear to all of that because, on the other hand, you have people who rather commend what I'm doing, arguing that if you have a spouse who does painting, it will be good for the family. People will always judge, so that's all about life.
La vie, c'est comme ça.
J'ai fini avec les études, il n'y a rien à faire, il n'y a pas de travail. Ça, ma copine a été travailler. Elle est comme une sœur pour moi. Je l'ai suivie comme ça, mieux d'apprendre à faire la peinture. Peut-être ça va nous aider à trouver quand même quelque chose. Je suis venue aussi, j'ai appris, par rapport à elle, j'ai appris beaucoup de choses. J'ai appris à faire la peinture, la décoration. On travaille ensemble de tout moment avec elle.
And in a context where women have to act to promote justice and their rights, Julienne has this to say.
Il faut avoir confiance en toi.
You need to be self-confident and you must also be determined and never say you can't do this. No, you can.
Non, tu peux le faire.
Bon, c'est pas quand même bon de laisser la façade comme ça vide. J'ai dit que bon, pourquoi pas faire une décoration.
Worth underlining is the fact that the world of painting releases emotions, promotes mental health, and conveys ideas or belief systems.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Maimouna Njoya. As you can see, I'm already in a deep conversation with our guests of this segment of the program. She's a counselor and also the founder of Vision of Hope, Marceline B., our resource woman. You're welcome.
Thank you, Percy.
Glad to have you here.
Same here, and congratulations on your recognition.
Thank you very much. We'll be talking about that on the third half. Do not miss it.
Okay.
But right now, let's get to this difficult conversation on sexual harassment. The barrister was here earlier, and she made us understand that it's something that exists, but sometimes women are ashamed of talking about it because they're afraid of losing their jobs and all of that. She defined it in her legal stance, but you being a community worker, you deal with women every single day.
Right.
How would you structure the definition of what it is, sexual harassment?
Sexual harassment mostly comes with masculinity, and it is the man imposing some sexual acts or verbal words towards a woman when the woman doesn't want to. Or these words could be humiliating, they could be intimidating, they would just make the woman to see less of herself. They try to give that emotional downgrade on the woman so that they can easily penetrate them sexually.
Yeah. So it's like they're weakening the woman's mind.
That is it.
So
exactly.
she's vulnerable.
So
and
she
they
becomes
can attack.
vulnerable. Yes.
Wow.
And then they tend to attack.
Yes.
You'll see most often this could come, it is manifested maybe through talking. They will just say some words to you like, this, your lips are suckable. You see it, and then before you realize it, you start thinking about things that you're not supposed to be thinking about. They could touch you around areas where they are not supposed to touch you. They could physically want to block you and just hold you. You give a handshake, they'll tell you, no, I want a hug. And then if you give a hug, they want to press you against themselves. And you see, just so that they can get to feel what you have as a woman. Yeah. So these are some of the things that we find in the society where women, they get to go through these activities, and it is intimidating, it is humiliating to them. Just imagine that in your workspace, you go in to drop a document on your boss's table, and when you turn to move out, you receive a spank on your buttocks. It is uncalled for, it is not necessary. So these are the type of things that we call harassment, harassing women and weakening them. It starts from harassment, and before you realize it, abuse comes in. You have the rape cases, you have abuse on women. Yeah. So we must, and I must tell you, Percy, it is on a steady increase, right from the secondary school levels to university, in your workplaces. You see women are harassed daily. I will bring you an example. While we were still in secondary school, we had this discipline master who would cunningly say is supervising your name tag on your uniform, sends his hands inside your chest pocket and is pressing against your nipple. It became a routine, so much that, you know, a young girl that is developing their physiological and hormonal changes in this within her system, they become excited, and it reached a point where some girls started coming to school without putting on bra. Yes. Because they would want to feel that touch from the discipline master. They did not know that they are harassing them sexually.
You know, that's another thing you just brought up. There are so many instances that women are not even conscious that this is harassment. You've listed one. What are some other instances they need to pay attention to?
You need to pay attention to some videos. You are chatting with a colleague, you're chatting with a friend, you're chatting with somebody, and out of a sudden they send you some emojis that are not valuing to yourself. You can just see somebody sends you a sex emoji, sends you a video that you don't want. You should be able to know that this person is in a form putting you through a mental torture, so that when they now come towards you, you must have been weakened and you'll be able to accept them. So when they send such emojis, you should be able to put boundaries. Tell them, this should be the last time you send such to my phone. If somebody, you're in your working space or you're a student, and a lecturer tells you, you must come to my place before you submit your assignment. You were sent to school to study and not to visit private homes. Now you go into a place where you are not sure of your security. Once they start touching you left and right and harassing you, you might not be able to defend yourself because you don't have protection around that environment. So women should learn to know to keep boundaries. You should not allow yourself to go beyond what is you as your personality. Define yourself. What is it that I want? It is true that some people will joke, like somebody will just see you and then they ask you, how was your weekend? I am sure that your lover, you had a great weekend with your lover this week. It is not necessary. Why are you asking about my love life?
Yes.
Why are you asking about my love life? It means that you want to gather some information so that you can use it against me in the nearest future. So you don't tolerate that. If it is work, it is work. If I am in school, I have come to study. Give me the opportunity to study. Give me the opportunity to work in an environment that is friendly. It should not be hostile.
Yeah, Marceline, you've said so many key things. We're paying attention to all of them. But there's some women who are liable to being harassed.
Yes. Because they expose themselves physically. We have a culture as Africans, a woman is supposed to be covered up.
Yeah.
But most often, we also now, because of the excitement that some women have, they want to dress in a very sexy way, and then they turn to expose body parts that are supposed to have been covered. And then when these men, they see these body parts, they turn to get excited. And when they're excited, the next thing they might want to touch, they might want to say something that they would not have said if they were not seeing what they are seeing.
Yeah.
So as a woman, if you learn to dress like an African woman, I think it's going to help us a lot. You don't go tight-fitted into an office. You don't go waxing your buttocks around a man just because you want to get them into temptation. And then at the end, when they are tempted, you tend to say you were harassed. We don't do that.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Men are visual creatures. They will see. That's what they say, that men are visual creatures and women are more audible. Like, they love hearing nice things.
That is
so
it.
we need to be aware of certain of those things. But at the same time, what can we say to the men when it comes to from childhood? Are they groomed to be the kind to be harassers? Or let's get back to the root of this.
I tell you, just yesterday, it's like this is falling in place. While I was coming back from work, I saw these two young kids, a male and a female. And then they were playing, and one of them, the female, the trouser slipped down. And while the male was struggling to pull it off, the girl instead pulled down her trouser and turned. I was saying, voir mes fesses, voir mes fesses. And the boy child was covering his face and saying, no, on ne fait pas ça, je ne dois pas voir tes fesses. I was embarrassed, Passy. I was embarrassed. How can a young girl, I had to stop, and I called her. I said, pourquoi tu montres tes fesses au garçon? Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to show your buttocks to a man? Now, the foundation matters a lot because we have to start training these children. I hate when you go to a school, like a primary school, for example, and a teacher will teach a pupil that this is my mouth, this is your mouth, these are your ears, these are your eyes. And then when he goes to maybe the female and to tell her that this is your vagina, you start saying this is your pipi, this is your toto. It doesn't sound well. From the foundation, we should make people identify these various parts and know that these are my body parts, that I have ownership over these my parts, and no other person should touch them haphazardly. Right from the basic. Why back at home, parents have that responsibility to teach their children moral values. It begins from home. It begins from you telling your boy child, value a girl child, value your sister. When you look at your sister, you should be able to appreciate her. Also, do you know that parents somehow harass their children while they are growing? You as a mother, you have a child that is already around the adolescent age, and then you go out and you bathe and you are just walking half naked or naked in front of the child. It stimulates those hormones within them, and they want to like touch, they want to feel. So you should be able to give your children that environment where they can be able to express themselves by not attaching themselves negatively to sexuality. So we should build their minds on values that give them the opportunity to see women as themselves and not being tempted to touch or to feel or to want to go in between.
Wow, that's so deep. Thank you so much, Marceline, for all of this. It's our responsibility to also teach girls that no is no, and you should have boundaries. And you should stand by your decisions, not let anyone influence you.
Yes.
And teach your sons that they need to respect a woman's body and not insult it or denigrate it or feel like it belongs to them because a woman is the weaker sex.
The vulnerable one.
The vulnerable one. Marceline, I know you're going to enjoy this conversation I'll be having with Alice Bay in a bit. She's the lady in red dancing with us this morning. But that'll be after this report by Rosalind Forster. I'm taking you to the littoral region. We head to this region to meet Nalova Esuke, a Master's 2 student who has chosen to focus on female hygiene and health. She's been advocating for polycystic ovarian syndrome by holding menstrual-related discussions with school children. Rosalind Forster tells her story.
She's neither a medical doctor nor works in a health domain, but her experience with polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, marked a turning point in her life. Nalova Isuke, a Master's 2 student in Human Rights and Development at the University of Boya, today is an advocate of PCOS.
This initiative came from me because I've lived with PCOS. I am a living witness of PCOS. I've lived with it. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. In French, it's known as SOPK, syndrome des ovaires polycystic. Many people don't really know about it. It's a misunderstood health condition. So I'm advocating for it in order to create awareness and for people to know more about it.
Many girls, she says, suffer from this hormonal dysfunction.
It has to do with irregular periods, missed periods, prolonged periods, painful periods, excessive weight gain and excessive weight loss.
Nalova Isuke has been working with her team for about a year now, meeting and discussing with young girls about menstruation and knowing their body is their utmost priority.
I start with schools. My first campaign was BHS Boya. I spoke with over 200 girls from 5 to upper seed. I spoke to them about PCOS, what they should look out for if they suspect they have PCOS, because at times it could not only be PCOS, it could be other health conditions like ovarian cysts, endometriosis, uterine fibroids, and many other health conditions. The next school I'm visiting in Boya is PCSS by the end of the month. In the next coming months, I hope to come to Douala, go to Yaoundé, and many other places to talk to the students about it.
She invites mothers to do the same by having personal conversation with their children and breaking stereotypes about periods.
I would tell mothers that they should not be ashamed talking to their daughters about menstruation, because without menstruation there is no PCOS. PCOS does not exist if there is no menstruation. They should not be ashamed, they should not be afraid, they should speak to their daughters about menstruation.
Her advocacy also involves providing tools that will enable young girls to know more about their flow, hence the reason behind the Inside Out My Cycle handbook.
The Inside Out My Cycle, it's a period tracker. I created this tracker to be able to help young girls and women to be able to track their menstrual cycles each month. This will be able to help them understand their bodies, the cycle of their length, their mood swings, the symptoms they have at the end of each month.
Meanwhile, Nalova Isuke emphasized that young girls should voice out their menstrual experiences for an early detection.
If your periods are too heavy, you speak out. If you have a missed period, speak out. Listen to your body. Do not stay silent. Do not self-medicate. Go to the hospital and see a gynecologist.
The project might be a new one, but strong enough for Nalova Isuke and her team to want to scale through this topic, which sadly still remains a taboo amongst many females.
Okay, it's small talk, and the lady in red is here. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning, Pesci.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing great. Marceline has been educating us this
that's
morning.
That's what I was getting from her while I was standing outside there. I can see her smiling because she did a lot.
Yes.
And she has transmitted information to women that really have to adhere to and know how to dress in public, because at times we dress thinking about dressing to attract our men, but if get to discover that other men do also look at you at the same time. Yeah. And men should also know that some of them will insist that their wives should look sexy. even when they're taking them out of the house. But then one thing they fail to know is that the same eyes you are looking at that woman sexually, another man is getting the woman in another angle somewhere. They're looking at her and say, oh, I wish that woman could have been mine.
Yeah.
But then if the woman, the man knows her, or he might even look for means to get to her through somebody else, which is really dangerous. As she rightly said, it's just for us to know how to resist temptations, because you also self-control. You also need to look good normally, but you don't expose your bobs, you don't expose all your body outside. It's not good. Tell your man, dear, I'm a big woman or I'm a female. I have my private organs that I have to preserve for my respect, particularly.
I personally think a man should not be telling you how to dress.
How to dress, even if they have to. But then you have to tell him that there are limits while I'm dressing. I can't go beyond, because you are instead exposing me to the public, which is and I
have this controversial perspective.
Friends, and he tells you to put on hot pants. Hot pants should be between you and him in the bed.
He wants his friends to be envious. Don't mind those ridiculous men. And also, sexy is not a compliment. I believe that, especially when you meet some stranger on the street and it says, it means I would like to sleep with you. So if you're saying thank you, you're like, come.
That is it.
Let's talk about sexual harassment from your end.
Obviously, one of the key elements that are really destroying female genotype problems on this earth is really based on that, particularly young girls and women at times, even women. Because you see some women have the impression that if they don't have a husband, and they have to harass one out there. You see a woman taking all her time to seduce a man, doing everything possible to seduce a man because she needs a man in her life. If God hasn't given you a husband or a partner, you just stay put. Everything comes when God decides. It's not for you to go harassing a man or doing everything for your boss in the office to know that you have some beautiful bobs or you have a beautiful shape or you're so beautiful or prepared for him. Things like that do destroy workplace, and they also diminish you, and they make you look belittled. It belittles you in the front of people. It's so disgraceful. You also have this tendency of men themselves looking at women. You see a man who is really married, a big man. As I usually say, men at times behave like when I say they behave like dogs, they're usually not happy.
I'm not into that.
They're really not happy, but the word at times is usually attributed when a man persists behind you for years. Somebody persisting, destroying your destiny, doing everything to keep you uncomfortable because you have refused him. And the person is like, why is this lady challenging me? I must have what I want. And you see it persists, that attitude persisting, and it's even destroying your destiny, your future, your career. It is very, very bad.
So can we have like a couple of seconds to share experiences?
Yeah,
Can we do that?
Yeah, we should.
All right. So I would start with an experience of a lady who was harassed by a boss until he had to fire her because she said no.
Yeah.
At the workplace, and she was an intern.
Yeah.
And that was so uncomfortable because you just want to learn, but then you're not given the platform to do so until you lose that opportunity because of that man's loss.
And
what
they
about
make
you?
sure. Yeah, I have that situation.
Yeah.
I'm one of the victims.
Please don't
of
call
it.
any names, okay? Please don't.
I'm a victim of it, and I know what it is.
Yeah.
And you see somebody follows you up step by step. Everywhere you go, the person makes sure your name is out of the list. Yeah. Every opportunity that has to come your way has been deviated to another person just because you have said no to a man. And I will bet you women, learn to say no.
Yes.
Because as I stand here, I don't even care who the person is. If it entails me slapping the person, I will do it because I have said no and I will never say yes. So you need to be strong and you need to preserve yourself. You need to let the man know that you are a responsible person. You have your intimacy to preserve.
Yeah.
It's not because somebody is harassing you that you have to lose a job and you're like, between me and the job, let me just give in to get that job. Tell the person I'll go.
You lose your dignity.
Yes. Tell the person I'll go out there. I might pick up another job, or God might provide me another destiny. If it entails me only having you as a partner, I will not. Learn to be strong.
Story?
Okay, we have a lot of these cases out there. You have women that will explain to you how even close relatives, they harass them. Uncles, cousins, they come to the house, you leave your girl child with them before you realize they are harassing them all over. So there are a lot of those cases. In the community, it is worse. Women are really crying every day, but they don't have those platforms where they can be able to talk out. There are
helplines. There are helplines. Can you share some of them?
Yes, there are helplines that we have that these women can be able to go to for protection, because once you say no to a man, the next thing is that you want to retaliate. And it is harmful to you because he thinks that his ego is being tampered with. Who are you, like a woman, to say no? But like Alice just said, it is good because it gives you your dignity, your self-worth, and it gives you that mental stability that you need to have, because you're able to say no and you stick to the no. So if you need help, you can contact 1523 of Cameroon Human Rights Commission. They'll be able to get to you to give you help. We have safe spaces, like in Vision of Hope, where I am the CEO. We provide a safe space for a woman so that we can be able to follow them up psychologically. We have also Coming Soon. They are doing a lot of work in Bamenda, especially in the crisis zone, where they have these safe spaces to talk to women, to get them to understand and then reintegrate them into the society. They go as far as meeting even some of these perpetrators to be able to counsel them, to talk to them. And legal action too is taken once the perpetrators, they cannot
We had
follow.
a barrister here who talked about that extensively. Alice, we can wrap up because we have about 3 minutes to the news.
Yeah, we can wrap up by saying that there are some men who usually think their personality can make them have any type of woman, especially when they have money. Because money also plays a role. I am a rich man, I can get you to any woman the way I want. Let him know that his money has nothing to do with you.
Yes, so
that is it. Be strong and tell the man, I'm sorry. No matter your cars, your houses, and your bank account that is full of whatsoever, I have said no. And my no is my no.
I love that. You know, you have to be strong as a woman. Strength is not about punching a man, but it's about your value system. What you know is wrong and right, and you standing on it. One thing you also have to know is if you're to blame, you should be accountable. Am I giggling every time a man is touching me and stuff? Am I going to a hotel, maybe not getting to the room, but I'm already in the hotel? Am I giving him an opportunity to continue to insist? Ask yourself those key questions. We women have to be accountable, but to the men who are the perpetrators, if you insist on a woman loving you, then you're a very lonely man. You should get a yes, okay, before continuing in a relationship, or else you are a perpetrator and you need to be punished. That said, we're going to have a news break.
They should learn to respect the boundaries.
Respect boundaries. A no is a no.
Your no is your no. That's it.
We have to get to the newsroom for the news in the French language. When we come back, we'll still highlight some more of this because it's never enough said when it comes to harassment. But that'll be after the news.
One in a million. She's got the tea of humanity, with a wish, one in a billion. Only a woman, only a woman, only a woman. Brother, only a woman, only a woman. Woman, 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 woman. Kalau laka film au bilak Masyaka da waipan Aparaka syuda Harus itabira Ay marapa Tasaraf tu Bima Bima tina Dina linda Maraka diwu Light me like a jamaica pon Umutunta Temuro Umashallah Malayala Titila ye Mushi kananga To stay, to ease up for that good job to make our way. For that woman, they are free. Kana, only a woman, only a woman, only a woman. Only a woman, only a woman. Come take Sarah, Ufa, Asa, Sarah, Ufa, Asa, come take Sarah, Ufa. Sarap, ufa, asa, ufa. lampedi bulane mumamo. Dulo na jimbi abama suwele. Omule mande. Hey, we are Jimmy lampedi.